Review of PPG. I guess we'll call it PPG for now, as Phil plays games. But for now, we'll just call it that, PPG Reviews Games. First game we're going to look at is a Lego City Undercover. Lego City Undercover. I got this game mostly because out of boredom on the Wii U. I mean, I love the system. I think it's going to do great things. The eShop has been pretty good. It's been decent. But there has been many game releases, which is kind of a stinker. But, we're just going to be patient. Definitely by next fall, I think we'll have plenty of games going. So, yeah. So we'll just run down, show you, I'll go recap of everything at the end. So let's just jump right into the review. Let's start with graphics. The graphics, there's not too much to say about this game. The graphics are very good. It's very colorful, vibrant. This is not too spectacular, it's not mind-blowing, the graphics, but there's nothing really to complain about. I played most of the Lego games, maybe not all the way through, but I definitely played most of them. I would say this is definitely the best looking one. Graphics-wise and just the scope of the city and all the different things you can see, it's mind-blowing. The most impressive part is easily the different stuff you get to see. You get to be in the woods, the city, an aquarium, a mine, a carnival, and there's just so much going on in the city. It really feels alive, and you feel like if Legos were alive, it'd be part of this. This is how it would be. Tons of Lego people having fun, being goofy. That's just how it is. So that's the graphics. I'd give it a solid B. Just it's good, mind-blowing, but nothing over the top or just it's good, solid. All right, next section: presentation and story. So the story is so the game starts off on a boat. You are the main protagonist, Chase McCain. He talks about being gone for a couple years after helping or screwing up a case with Rex Steele. But that gets a little strange, but we'll talk about that in a second, why that's strange. It's actually a really funny part of the beginning with a sea captain, so I'll show you here.
A warm welcome to all you listeners who just tuned in. You're listening to the sizzling sounds of Lego City Radio. And let me tell you that the forecast for today is hot, hot, hot. There she is, Lego City. It's been 2 years since I was sent away, but it made me a better cop, a smarter, faster cop.
So what brings you back here, Chase McCain?
An old acquaintance, a promise to keep, a debt of honor to be repaid.
I meant business or pleasure? I have to fill in your paperwork.
Maybe neither, maybe both.
Yeah, I really do have to tick one of the boxes. Don't worry, I'll buff right out. And we'll go on! And with the skill of an old sea dog, I slide her smoothly into port. And what brings you to Lego City, young lady?
This boat?
Oh, fiddlepats.
You've been gone. I know the 3DS version is supposed to be a prequel to all this, so what I'm guessing is that the prequel is going to explain, obviously, where you've been. And my theory is that intentionally the 3DS version was going to come out before this one, because there's some things that are missing, and it feels strange jumping in, like I should already know this stuff. It doesn't hurt the story necessarily, but there's some awkward scenes in the beginning. It's like, huh? Kind of confused what's going on. But nothing that hurts the game, and after the first mission, you don't even notice it anymore. The cast character is also really nice. You have your buddy, who's like a goofball, but he's actually really funny throughout.
Hi there, Mayor Gleason. Hey, Chief.
Dunby!
Honey! Waffles! What are we doing?
And you have a girl that, helps you, tells you all the way through. And then you have Natasha, who you call right in the beginning of the game, and like she's supposed to be in Witness Protection Agency, which is protection, not agency, whatever. And you mess it up because it's silly and goofy, so she gets mad at you, but stays in the city. But you mess all that up because then Rex Steele, whoever you captured before, the main guy, is also released. I'm actually surprised about the story in this game. It never gets complicated or anything. It's pretty simple forward, but throughout the 15 missions in the game, it gets pretty fleshed out. Never complicated, but it's nice to see the story not so simple of, oh, chase this bad guy, or whatever. It's it's got some depth to it. It's actually pretty surprising and interesting. And each mission has a scene in the beginning and at the end, whatever, just explaining the story, and it's always really funny. One of the best parts, probably the best part of the game, is the humor. It's childish at times, but never gets in the way. And each joke, I call it like ADH humor, because it's like 5-second jokes of falling or silliness, and it's still funny. Even if you don't think it's funny, it's going to be over in 5 seconds. It's not going to be super long, so you don't have to worry about that.
Right. I'm up to figure out how to get into Chan's gang. I hope they've reopened the bridge to the main island.
Good luck with that, Chase.
That was Chase?
That's those jokes for everyone. I still find them funny. And then for older players, there's a bunch of like crime dramas, 80s like cop shows references that they make throughout like constantly. And usually kids would just blow it off like whatever. That doesn't mean anything to them. But it's nice to see bring some humor to older people. So presentation wise, like menus and all stuff, nothing special. They do its job, especially with the collectibles. It's nice. How it's divided by each section shows you what needs collectibles, and trust me, there's tons and tons of collectibles, but I'll go more in that a little bit later. Use the gamepad is decent. Uses it decently. You can't play it all on the screen, which would be nice, but having a map the whole time, like in Grand Theft Auto, is really nice. Like, I hate pulling up a map in a game and having to take 15 seconds to load up and whatever, maybe less than that, but still, it gets in the way. It's intruding. So if you just look down and you have your path over here, it's really nice. My favorite part of using it, well, there's some other things like a radar. You hold it up and it finds all the stuff, but that's nothing special. But my favorite part is you'll get a call, between missions, like by your friend, and be like a silly little conversation, and their video, it's like a video call, so their video will be on the screen and you'll be talking to them up there. And something, I don't know why it's simple, but I really liked it, that if you have the volume up on the gamepad, so when they're talking, you hear it on the gamepad, but Chase, the main character, will be talking to him. You hear him on the screen, but you hear the person on the bottom. It's just a nice little touch. I think it's just cute, and I like it. It's fun. Gameplay. This is where the game kind of takes a dip a little bit. I mean, it's got its up and downs in the gameplay. The controls are fine. They're simple, and the combat is a little too simple, I would say. So is the platforming, and I'll look at each of those separately. So let's start at the platforming. As you go through the game, you will see blue and white Lego pieces. That indicates that you need to jump or whatever. That usually brings you to top of a building or over a wall or point of interest, basically. And there's different ones. There's stuff to climb, there's stuff to jump on, there's like hills to run up, and basically you either tap B or hold B, and that's how you do it, and you'll win. It's pretty simple. Same with fighting. Combat, you'll press Y just to...
If I make 2 more arrests this month, I win a waffle line.
See? Funniness always happens. You'll just hit Y and you'll flip a guy over, and then you press A on him to put the handcuffs. That's how you beat him. At one point in the game, you do get more moves. Like, the enemies get a little tougher, but like all Lego games can't really die. In this one, like, I don't even know how you take damage really, besides like falling or doing something silly. Other than that, everything else, controls are fine. In a car, they work, they're responsive. That's where another downside I would say. I was hoping for like really, really craziness, like in a car, like going like 1,000 miles an hour over a jump, crashing into a wall, and just everything break apart. You know, I don't know why they didn't do it like that. Like, it's very timid in that sense. I don't know if they were trying not to be violent, but I don't see how that could be violent. You're just Lego, so if you like break your legs off and go and just like respawn with them back on, like I don't see that why they wouldn't do that. And that's my biggest disappointment, that they didn't have stuff like that, because I would love to be doing crazy stuff, flipping and destroying everything. And that's just not quite in the game. There's normal platforming stuff, like you jump over things like that, but you know, we've seen that a million times. Big pet peeve in this game is double jumps. I love double jumping in the game. You know, I know it doesn't make sense, but it doesn't matter. It's a video game. In this game, you can double jump, but just like that, you don't go any higher or further, so it's just there. And it's really frustrating and constricting that, like, I wish it was just not in the game, because it's just frustrating when you can double jump and it doesn't do anything. You know, it's just a little pet peeve. So if a game does that, bad points, bad points. Another negative about the gameplay is that, you know, you'll go to different parts of the world during missions, which is fine, it's cool. And you'll see the things you can't interact yet because you haven't unlocked the power. You'll actually get suits, like I'm switching here, and like, you know, the thief can open safes and pry doors open, you know, and then you get all kinds of people, and you get, you know, the miner that has axe that can break stuff and use dynamite, which is all fine. I like having upgrades and power-ups and all stuff, but as you're going through the game, you pass all this stuff that you can't reach, and it's like so many things. It's not just like a whole new path. It's not significant enough. It's just little things that you would like to have as you go through, and it stops you. So it's, you know, you don't want to go back for this little like tent that you couldn't use. So it's kind of frustrating in that regard. You know, I wish you could. It wasn't so restricting in that sense. I get, you know, you get why they do it to, you know, lengthen the game and all that stuff, but I don't know, it's just frustrating. It just doesn't work for me. All right, let's look at the collectibles. I don't know if I can really bring them up there, but you see the amount of cars and red bricks and characters you can be, and the golden bricks are 450. I mean, this game has so many collectibles. I'm talking like Donkey Kong 64 amount of collectibles. There's just so many, and to me, it's not fun enough. You know, I appreciate that they're in it, and you don't really need them, so I just don't think it's fun enough to collect them all. There's not a knock on the game. You know, if you love collectibles and you want a game that has a ton to do, this is it. It's just not really worth it to me. So, you know, you can finish the story, which is 15 missions, I believe, and it ranges about like 10-hour game, which is pretty decent, just the story. And you know, I mean, it's about 8 hours, but you probably do 2 hours if you're just like, oh, I want to look on this ledge, because everyone likes to do that in open world games. So, you know, you're probably about 10 hours, which isn't bad. And if you want to do all the collectibles, like, I can't even imagine how long it would take you. But at least the game, what I appreciate is each section of the city, you'll be like, oh, this is Chinatown, and this has 4 red bricks and 3 mini-game challenges you have to find. So it's, like, very sectioned off and easy to, like, have a checklist of all that stuff. And there's also Nintendo collectibles, which aren't on the checklist because they're supposed to be really hidden. And those are fun to see and collect and all that stuff. And the collectibles, you know, they range from red bricks, which you buy cheats, gold bricks, which like are like check marks almost. Like everything you get, you like finish your level, you collect red brick, you'll get a gold brick. So it's like a kind of like a check mark of how far you are. And then there's characters and cars to unlock. And then there's super bricks, which you can collect by like destroying stuff or like finding these golden super bricks, which you use to build things that you see, like a green plate if you play with the old Legos, like the green flat mat, and you can build like 40,000. You'll build like there's a bunch of like car centers that you can call cars, or like this is the merry-go-round, use it to build that. So some are necessary in the game, but in the story mission, like if you need 40,000 for the dojo, there'll be mini games right around it that give you 40,000. So it's never like, oh, hold on, go out of the level, go, you know, catch up on the super bricks and come back. So that's a nice touch. So it's not like, all right, now that's really forcing you to extend the game. So it does a good job in that regard. Just to give you an idea, like the collectibles, like I finished the game, I had about 15% completed the game. So it's mind-blowing how much you have to collect. The last part I want to make is the music. Sound effects are pretty decent. The voice acting is excellent. The weird part about it is like going through the world, like if you're just collecting stuff, it gets really quiet. There's like some ambiance music, but sometimes it's not even that. You just hear cars go by and stuff, and it's awkward. This game would have really benefited from licensed music. Like I'm not a big fan of that in games, but GTA and all open world games, I think it's fine. So even if you were in cars, if you had some music, even if it was like made up music, but there's nothing. So I like would put on the music on my own music as I played, because it's boring when you're not listening to that. So it's kind of strange. But all the voice acting, all that stuff is great. So I'm surprised. I don't know if it ran out of money and time, but it definitely seems that way. Final thoughts. Final thoughts. This game's mostly towards kids, and like if I was 12 years old, I probably would have been in love with this game, and I still appreciate it for what it is. I like it, and there's still fun to be had. It's just the game's really easy. Like I know that's what Lego games are. If you ever played them before and you know how you can't really die, it's the same in this. It's too easy. I know. I would like a little bit more challenge. I think kids can do it. The graphics and story have its charm. They're not quite the AAA status, but they're a solid B. The humor's awesome. That's, not reason enough to play the game, but it definitely helps. But the game has its flaws, like long loading times, and I mean long loading times. Like I'll show you the loading times during this, and like I think I timed it. It was like 45 seconds to get into the game, and that is really long. But it doesn't take away enough of the game to make it not enjoyable. It's still enjoyable. So it's a huge city. It's tons to do, tons of stuff. And if you don't mind the kiddiness and the humor, and you want a game that's collecting, just not waste your time, but something to do during your time, especially waiting for more Wii games. Because come on, Nintendo, Wii games. I guess you have your 3DS, and there's plenty of stuff to play on there. So hopefully, Pikmin will have a release date soon. So yeah, I don't really have a rating system yet, but I would give like an 80,000 out of 100,000, or B minus an 80. So not in the C, because it does a lot of things right, but it doesn't do a lot of things that great. So B minus. That's what I would say. Yeah. So it's not game of the year or anything like that, but I'm excited for my next review. It's going to be Luigi's Mansion 2: Dark Moon on 3DS. And spoiler, that game is really, really good. And cut. All right. Thanks, guys. I hope you liked my first review. I hope I don't say too many times. I'll try to cut some of those out in editing. But if you liked it, please comment and like and subscribe to my channel. I'm really trying, and I say this a lot in my videos, but until I get some some consistency, I'll keep saying it. Just because my first, self-confidence issues. If you're a nerd, you know what I'm talking about. But, I'm going to keep making videos for a while, but it'll definitely help if I get some feedback and all that stuff. Make myself feel like it's worthwhile. Because I want to do it for the fans. I want to have fans that really appreciate it. And I don't mind trying if, people appreciate it. So, I'm going to continue. This is a review. I have so much more respect for people. Like, writing out all the stuff and doing the review. It was quite difficult. It's a lot of work, so I hope some people appreciate it, because it feels good to appreciate it. And if you don't like me, you don't want to say anything, it's fine. And if you have someone that you do like that reviews it, make sure you give them a thumbs up and say, hey, thanks, because now I know how much that means and how much work they put into it. So thank your favorite reviewers and all that stuff, because it's a lot of work. So yeah, that's my little speech. So until next time, I'm PPG. See you guys later. Bye. I'm gonna go punch some Legos in the head.